Hi and welcome to A World of Words. I'm Vanessa and today I have a slightly different kind of book talk. I'm going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and instead of just a regular book talk, it's going to be a live reaction book talk. I'm going to jump right in and show you the clips that I have for Goblet of Fire. I did start my review a little ways into the book, so I think I started a little bit after the Quidditch World Cup, so I did start it, like, not right at the beginning of the book, but you know. Oh, and also this way it'll be chronological because my book talks are all over the place and probably can get a little confusing. Without further ado, this is my reaction review of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This whole review is going to contain spoilers because I've read this book 9 times now. I read it 8 times before, so this is my 9th reread. Oh, excuse me. This is my 9th reread that I've actually kept track of, so I might have read it more times. I don't even know. I love it so much. I love it so much. This is my favorite book in this series. I love it so much. So I'm just going to get into my kind of reaction reviews and enjoy, and I'll see you afterwards for my final wrap-up thoughts things. So we just passed the part where all of the wizards were accusing poor little Winky of stealing Harry's wand and doing the dark mark, and poor Winky. I love Winky so much, considering the amount of time she actually has in the books and the amount that I am attached to her. I feel like I'm way too attached to Winky. She's just so cute and so sweet, and I love her so much, and I really ship her and Dobby together because they're just too cute. So yeah, I have such an attachment to Winky. I felt so bad for her. Poor thing was so scared, and Barty was threatening to set her free, and just poor Winky. And this is the start of Hermione's house elf thing. I'm forgetting what it's called, but I will find out soon because you can see her getting all revved up about it. It's happening. I was actually pretty sad when they cut that from the movie because I like that. It was very Hermione, you know? Poor house elves. They ain't treated right. Yeah, and we also just finished the Quidditch World Cup, which I love the Quidditch World Cup so much. It's so much fun. It's such a short scene, but I feel like it's so much longer in my mind, which is weird. It's how I've been feeling rereading all of them, actually, that they feel so much longer in my head. Every scene seems so vivid and so much longer in my head that it actually is reading it. Yeah, so I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. I got to the Sorting Hat song. I always love the Sorting Hat song so much, and I think the one for this book, book 4, is my favorite. We'll see what the other ones are, but I'm pretty sure this one is my favorite, so I'm going to perform it for you because I feel like it. I want you to experience the joy with me. 1,000 years or more ago, when I was newly sown, there lived 4 wizards of renown, whose names are still well known. Bold Gryffindor from mild moor, fair Ravenclaw from glen, sweet Hufflepuff from valley broad, shrewd Slytherin from fen. They shared a wish, a hope, a dream, and hatched a daring plan to educate young sorcerers. Thus Hogwarts School began. Now each of these 4 founders formed their own house for each, did value different virtues in the ones they wished to teach. They had to teach. By Gryffindor the bravest were prized far beyond the rest, for Ravenclaw the cleverest would always be the best. Ravenclaw pride. For Hufflepuff hard workers were most worthy of admission, and power-hungry Slytherin loved those of great ambition. While still alive they did divide their favorites from the throng, yet how to pick the worthy ones when they were dead and gone? 'Twas Gryffindor who found the way. He whipped me off his head. The founders put some brains in me so I could choose instead. Now, where did they get the brains? Now slip me snug about your ears. I've never yet been wrong. I'll have a look inside your mind and tell where you belong. So I hope you enjoyed that random little reenactment poetry reading, if you will. I love that song so much. Songs, man. Songs are fun. You're welcome. You're welcome. I got to the part where Moody turns Malfoy into a ferret. Oh, I love that part. He's bouncing Malfoy along, and then McGonagall's just like, What are you doing? Teaching? Teaching? Moody, is that a student? Oh my god. Yeah, it was funny. I love Ferret Malfoy. Did they put that in the movie? I need to watch Goblet of Fire again. I need to rewatch all the movies again, really. Also the part where, just a couple pages earlier, when Malfoy read everybody the article about Mr. Weasley and the Ministry of Magic, and they called him Arthur Weasley instead of, not Arthur, they called him Arnold Weasley instead of Arthur Weasley. And then Malfoy's like, imagine them not even getting his name right, Weasley. It's almost as though he's a complete non-entity, isn't it? I'm like, non-entity? That seems like a big word for you, Malfoy. Hermione just started spew. Society for the Protection of Elvish Welfare. It's so funny. And poor Harry and Ron, they do not want to join. They don't want to walk around with badges saying spew. Let alone the fact that they have to pay to join. Oh, Hermione. She tries so hard. And now we've reached the start of Ron being obnoxiously jealous of Harry for no good reason. Much as I love this book, I hated that part because it just made Ron seem so petty. And beforehand, he seemed like a little bit jealous of Harry having more money and being famous, but like, he never seemed quite that petty, and this makes Ron look really, it's quite unattractive, really. So anyway, yeah. I can't wait till they're friends again. And Harry's name just got called from the Goblet of Fire, and Ron just said that he was upset, or looked upset at Harry, and I'm already like, really, I don't like it when they fight. It's so stupid. Alright. The blast ended Scroots. They're so horrible. Hagrid wanted them to take them for a walk, and Malfoy's like, and where exactly are we supposed to fit the leash? Around the sting, the blasting end, or the sucker? And they're just like pulling everyone around, and it's too funny. I'm enjoying their misery way too much, but just what horrible creatures. Aw. Potter stinks badges. That's rough. Poor Harry. Rita Skeeter. Hey, Harry. Yeah, that's right. Harry found himself shouting as he wheeled around the corridor, having had just about enough. Everybody's making fun of him because of the Rita Skeeter article. I've just been crying my eyes out over my dead mom, and I'm just off to do a bit more. No, it's just, you dropped your quill. It was Cho. Awkward. I'm going to do a brief update of a couple sections that I was reading, and I didn't feel like taking out my camera and talking about my thoughts at that particular moment, but I do want to talk about them, so I'm just going to talk about those. I think it's just like 2 scenes that I have skipped over and just kind of marked to talk about. The first one is the first task in the Twi-Wizard Tournament. I'm having the hardest time saying Twi-Wizard Tournament. I don't even know why. So like the dragon scene. When I first read the book, I absolutely loved the first task. I loved the whole Hungarian horntail scene. I thought it was great. But then the movie came out, and actually I think it is one of the only scenes, well, there are a few scenes actually. I think it's one of the few scenes that I think the movie did better than the book, because in the movie version it's so much longer and it's so much more exciting, even though it does kind of make you wonder about like the safety of the tasks, because in this one the dragon didn't leave the contained area, and it also didn't break its chain, but in the movie it did, which kind of made you question how on earth this was allowed to happen in a school. But honestly, I didn't even mind, because in the movie it was more exciting and we got to see more of the dragon, and I love dragons, so more dragons equals better for me in my personal opinion. So I just really wanted to talk about that, because it's very rare that I reread a scene, I'm like, oh yeah, but the movie version. Like that just doesn't happen very much, especially when rereading Harry Potter. I got to the Yule Ball part. I'm actually a bit past it now, but I love it so much. But I hate Harry and Ron in that scene. The whole part is just, they're awful to their dates. I just wrote a quick note in here. They are the worst dates ever. Like, ever. Okay, Ron especially, because Harry was required to get a date, otherwise he'd look like a big idiot, though he acted like a big idiot, but yeah, he was required to get a date because he had to open the ball or whatever. So I understand why he was making a big deal about getting a date and how he had to get one, even if he only wanted to go with Cho, because no other girl is as pretty as Cho. So like, if he couldn't go with Cho, he was just gonna be a big lump, basically, which is what he did. But Ron was making a big stink about having a date too, and it really didn't matter to him. He didn't even want to dance at all. He didn't even want to talk to her at all. I didn't understand why was this. It was just a stupid ego thing, and I get it, he's a 14-year-old boy, but that doesn't mean you can be a bad person. It was just rude the way he treated her, and I don't blame those girls at all for going off and dancing with other boys. I mean, I probably would have done the same thing if my date refused to dance with me. You know, it's just stupid. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and frown the whole time, it's just stupid, and they were awful. And I knew they were awful when I first read this, but for some reason I thought this book came out in 2004. And I would have been like 14, but I guess it came out in 2000, so I was still like 10. So I guess I thought this was one of the books that me and my sister each bought our own version of, but maybe it's not, and maybe I just kind of stole it for myself. But yeah, I just mostly wanted to mention that Ron and Harry were huge jerks, and I did not appreciate it, and it really made me kind of dislike them as characters. And aside from earlier in this book when Ron decided to be a big jerk, this book just isn't making Ron look good at all. Yeah, I usually always really like Harry. Oh, Gillyweed gives you gills. It only took me, what, 15 years to get that? Okay, so the third task and beyond is what I'm talking about now. So I know I keep comparing this to the movie, because while I absolutely love the movie, I think the fourth movie might also be my favorite of the movies. I do need to rewatch Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'm getting it for my birthday, so I will find out. I'm going to do a rewatch of all of the Harry Potter movies, yeah, probably next week. I might do a brief comparison contrast video between each of the movies so far, after I finish the movie, because I did just read the first 4 books, so that could be kind of fun, except for I don't think I'll be able to do Prisoner of Azkaban because I never bought that one and my library doesn't have it, and they have all the other ones, so I ramble so much. See what I mean? I don't take notes and then I just start talking and talking and talking. So while I loved the 4th movie so much, I really didn't like what they did with the maze. I really prefer the book version of the maze because it makes more sense to me, honestly. Why would they have a killer maze that can grab the students and then they can't find them because you're supposed to like set up your red sparks, you know, when you feel like you're in danger, but like when the maze grabs you, and it was like choking somebody to death. Again, I haven't watched the movie in years. It was choking someone to death, I swear, and it like pulls them into the maze and they don't even get a chance to set up the red sparks. And it just, And the maze, does the maze move around or was that just the maze runner? And I liked all the creatures and I really wanted to see the creatures, especially the Sphinx. I was so curious about the Sphinx. And yeah, while it was very exciting in the movie, and it, you know, how you always are the first time you watch an adaptation when they change things, you're always like, that's not like the book. I'm sure we all do it. And then you rewatch it and you're like, okay, you know, you've accepted it, you know, this is pretty good. Like, it was a good scene, but I still like the book version better. What doesn't make sense, and I know everybody has pointed this out a million times, is like Voldemort's evil plan with the port key. It's like, I'm sure Moody could have turned any object into a port key and had Harry sent to Voldemort at any point during the book. Honestly, I don't even care. I love this book so much. It was so much fun. Didn't have to do the whole Triwizard tournament in order to kind of make his plan unfold. I don't know if, you know, I don't care. It's fun. I love it. I don't know that I have that much more to say because, like, the big reveal of everything I've already read a bazillion times, so it wasn't really anything new. I mean, it has been quite a few years since I read it, so some stuff was new. Like, I had forgotten about Ludo Bagman. I was suspecting him pretty much the whole time. I was like, does he turn out to be evil because he really wants Harry to win? Turns out he just wanted money. I'm still so upset about Moody because I really, really love Mad-Eye Moody in this book, and I'm so sad that it's not the real Moody, and I forget if, I don't think Moody is the same in, like, the other books. Like, I love Moody in this book. He was so much fun. Oh, which makes me just want to go back and talk about that one scene that I forgot to mention. I love the scene when Harry is stuck on the steps, and right after he's, figured out the clue for the second task with the egg, and then Moody and Snape and Filch are all there, and it's such a hilarious scene. And then Moody comes down and it's like, are we having a pajama party? It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole book, and Filch keeps clutching the egg like it's his firstborn son, and he's like, no, we need the egg because it's our only evidence against Peeves. I can get rid of Peeves. I love it so much. I have to talk about that scene. And then Harry, of course, gives Moody the map. Should not have done that. Shouldn't have done that. But of course Harry's trusting, and so was I the first time I read it. I'm like, I love Moody. Moody's awesome. And then Moody turns out to be, like, evil and supporting Voldemort, so what are you gonna do? Oh, it's poor Cedric. Even though I've read it so many times, it's still just like, Dumbledore was talking about how Cedric was such a good person and that we should always remember him. I was like, poor Cedric. It's still really sad. Oh, and I love the line when he's like, there will come a time in everyone's life when we have to decide between what is right and what is easy. And that's just a really good line because it's true. It's so true. Dumbledore has the best quotes. Yeah, I think that about wraps up my live reaction review of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Hopefully you enjoyed this because I'm probably going to make more like this. I'll see you next time. Next I'm gonna go read the Order of the Phoenix. So thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you never want to miss one of my videos. Have a wonderful day. Bye!